All right, I have to look at my notes here for a second. This man, John Cena, really said, "You're not Punk. You're a capitalist. You're not against TKO. You're Mr. TKO." Wow. Wow. Hello, everybody. This is a Saturday morning edition of my Smackdown Reacts. Great to be here. Things I like, things I didn't like. The things that I like today are the reason why I'm a wrestling fan, why you're a wrestling fan. It's the reason why we are all are wrestling fans. And the buck starts and stops with John Cena and his pipe bomb, the WWE's version of the pipe bomb. Just amazing, amazing, amazing television. You know, Kyle said it best, when we started doing our show a year and a half ago. The best storylines are the ones that's rooted in reality. And that's all that was with John Cena. Everything that he said about CM Punk, the presentation. Ironically, I had to look this up because I'm like, wait a minute. Something familiar about this. So when CM Punk delivered his pipe bomb back on June 27th, 2011 in Las Vegas, it was following a tables match between John Cena and R-Truth. And it was back when R-Truth in 2011 had his top run. Remember, he just main evented Capital Punishment against John Cena back then. And they had the Raw Roulette storyline. And then Cena was laid in that corner. You know the scene, especially if you watch back then. Laid in the corner. CM Punk delivering the pipe bomb. Again, rooted in reality. Here, kind of the same deal. It wasn't a tables match, but it was Cena and R-Truth. An angle. And then, of course, Cena or Punk tried to go out for the save, and Cena low blow. And I do like how, listen, in pro wrestling, there's a lot of moves that we have made look to be like, it's no longer a big deal. I still like that in 2025, a low blow is still a huge deal. A low blow gets you to the table, and you're laying there for 20 minutes on the table. But yeah, that's the Cena that is money. That's the John Cena when he turned heel. When they made the call for him to turn heel, that's what you wanted to see. Something rooted in reality. And now it makes sense that he was against the fans. It makes sense because now, people are starting to understand. The little acknowledgement that, hey, they get it. Even you idiots get it. Sometimes you got to go through that redemption arc. Now, what's key is going to be, there's a week to go. What's CM Punk's next move? So, again, I mentioned on the show, I didn't feel like Cena Punk was elevated at a level where I know they're capable of delivering. They're there now. They are there now. CM Punk's going to bring the absolute best out of you, not only in the ring, but especially on the microphone. And man, that was phenomenal television. Those last 12 minutes of SmackDown, that was phenomenal television. I actually watched the angle first last night and then watched the entire show this morning. Just unbelievable. We'll talk more about that for sure on the show. I know Kyle had thoughts on his reacts as well about that angle, but we'll talk more about that coming up next week on the show. I do want to hit on something else, though. It was crazy. I think, sometimes with week-to-week TV shows that you see with streaming, and, I joke that, I watch Love Island USA. Yeah, manly, I know. But if you watch, you understand, you get it. And I'm a basketball fan. Love Island USA. I'm way more invested in that than the NBA Finals. But what's interesting with that show is that every single episode, in some way, shape, or form, is high stakes. Something's on the line. Something's in play. If somebody makes a wrong move, you're toast. I feel this way right now with the King of the Ring tournament. I loved every second of Cody, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Randy Orton. Every second of it, the way it was booked, the way it was presented, I loved every second of it. I love that Cody did not say a word. More on Cody in a moment. Jey Uso coming down and stay in his case like, hey, we've been through the trenches. No matter what, we're locked in, we're tight, but I got to be the one. And again, continues the story arc of, hey, Jey Uso wants to be the one eventually leading his family. I got to be the one. He's tasted championship success. He's been at the top. He's not satisfied with just being around anymore. That's good stuff. Good stuff there. Sami Zayn, the ultimate babyface. I got to do it the right way, which you're seeing time and time and again. That doesn't work. But that's a story arc, that I'm talking to the real, not in evaluating the show, but like his actual character, that doesn't work. But hey, I got to win it the right way. I like the acknowledgement, like I got to have the championship. I got to get it. And then Randy Orton, man, this dude knocks out of the park every time. Every time. He just knocks out of the park. His story is simple. It's like, dude, I love all three of you, but I'm going to have to I got to go past you to get back to John Cena and win the championship. So the story arc's there. High stakes. It led right into Randy Orton and Sami Zayn in their semifinal, which was a great match, great finish with the false RKO at first. Sami countered out of it, and then, gonna try it again with the kick, and no, Randy Orton, RKO, match is over. And a little hint, again, Sami Zayn falling short once again. You think of it, if you equal this to real sports, think of the Buffalo Bills. Think of a team that, is good enough to be there. It's good enough to be at the dance. But when they get close, they get to the semifinals, they get to the conference championship, falling short. Think of the Bills. Think of Lamar Jackson. That's Sami Zayn right now. And what is it going to take for Sami Zayn to break through? That's good television right there. Randy Orton in the finals. We'll find out on Monday if it will be Cody or Jey Uso. Speaking of Cody, want to get to this point. Cody said a lot without saying a single word. Again, this is good television. This is good stuff. Nick Khan and Triple H have told us, don't listen to the small minority that is the internet. Which, okay, fine, whatever. I think it's a load of BS, but fine. Let's take their word, right? Listen to the crowd, right? So I'm listening to the crowd. And judging from what I hear from the crowd, judging from what I hear when I talk pro wrestling with other friends around town, they're not feeling Cody. This is not an internet opinion. I'm listening to the fans. They're all in on Jey Uso. All in on Sami. All in on Randy Orton. They're not feeling Cody. And I think they are listening. Triple H, Nick Khan. Because look at that body language. You see some of the images. Jey was delivering that whole speech about, hey, we got to... Could you see that Cody, when Jey said, like, hey, we've been through it, but I got to get mine, so I got to get to the top. Cody looked at Jey Uso like, Mother Blanker, you don't belong here. You don't belong in this moment. This is not your moment. Your stuff is cool and all. You'll always be the little brother, but I'm the guy. Like, this is going on. I don't know when it's going to happen. It could be as early as this Monday on Raw. It could be Night of Champions. It could be SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes is turning. And it's going to be a sad day when it happens. Cody's turning. That told me what I just watched. That told me everything I needed to know. Everything I needed to see. Cody's turning. Again, we'll talk more about it on our show. But again, just great shows deliver when it's high stakes. It's not just about the wrestling. It's about the story. If you can deliver on high stakes television, that's why the shows that are successful, that's why they're successful. It's delivering a high stakes, high drama, bringing people to the dance, delivering every single week, punch after punch after punch. And those top two things did just that. Incredible. Quickly, I'll go through some of the other stuff here too. Even though I'm not feeling the Seth Rollins group, partly because they don't have a name, and it's just an odd pair, I do have to acknowledge that Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, Paul Heyman, and credit as well to LA Knight. I thought they had a strong week. Setting up things at the opening segment. So you have that with LA Knight. So those things were set up. And then Bron Breakker, you just know he's just a killer. You know, again, the day that we get Bron Breakker and Jacob Fatu clashing together, it's going to be a special day for wrestling fans. But we're not there yet. But, man, Bronson being the, you know, you can kind of see the visionary tendencies with Bronson Reed that Seth Rollins has. Bron Breakker ready to kill. And then Bronson Reed like, yo, chill. This is me this week. And then, of course, you get delivered with a spear. You get delivered with multiple tsunamis. LA Knight might need to take some time off. I'm not saying it's going to be extensive, but you might need to take some time off. But again, even though I'm not really feeling the group as a whole in terms of, all right, where are we going, things like that, they're heels. And I thought seeing those two, Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, of course, working with Paul Heyman, that dynamic, I thought they had a very strong week. And LA Knight did his job. He did a great job with that. All right, real quick, because I know we're running long on this video. Things I didn't like, boy, can't wait for this show to get cut down to 2 hours. No matter how great the show is, no matter what, even with the recording where I could skip through the commercials, boy, when hour number 3 hits, there's a wall, man. It's like, when you play sports, or I used to run track, it's like if you won the 400-meter dash, first 100 you're cool, backstretch you're cool, even the final turn, boy, it's that wall. Like that final 100, it's like, oh my goodness. Oh, man. Because then I remember, like, man, we still got to get Cena Truth. We still got to do this, the Bronson Reed stuff. The Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton things. Like, come on. It's that wall. So from all indications, SmackDown very, very soon will go back down to 2 hours. It will be needed. I will also add, too, we had a stretch. I had to write it down. SmackDown took 3 commercial breaks in a span of 11 minutes. They took in the third hour, they took a break at the 31-minute mark. They came back. Jacob Fatu had a promo. R-Truth came out with his entrance. They went back to break at 2:34. They come back, 2:37, 2:38. And then they did a side-by-side break at 2:42. I understand they had to create some time for the big angle at the end with John Cena, but it's tough when you consider that on Netflix, if you watch, you're not getting long commercial breaks. You got to satisfy USA Network, but man, that can't happen. You can't have 3 commercial breaks in a span of 11 minutes. That is killer. Especially, again, the third hour that's killer. Also, R-Truth is back, not Ron Killings. So, the match with Cena and Truth, not a fan of, the bigger thing was the angle, but, not a fan of Cena and R-Truth only because it was quick. And that told me R-Truth back down to the basement. For this episode, the women's division, come on, Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax again. I think there's some things that's cooking. So for this episode, I have to knock it down, but there's some things cooking. I like the fact that next week will be a last woman standing. I think there's something to be said. There are stories being told. I just think right now, you might just be thinking, man, Stratton and Nia again. When is Charlotte, Alexa going to move? And it's like, but it's cooking. So I'll give them benefit of the doubt, even though I do have it listed as things I don't like. All right, I went way over, but that SmackDown, as far as the top things that happened on the show, was incredible. It was worth the time. And if you don't want to watch the full 3 hours, I don't blame you. But go out of your way to watch the King of the Ring promo. And obviously, if you have not seen it already, John Cena's pipe bomb promo. Just incredible stuff. All right, you guys have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday after Raw.